Let's get all sorted. I'm James.
In a world filled with Lego
What are you doing, Jeff?
stands two men who want to talk about advertising.
Oh, okay. Lego advertising.
That's right.
They
It's
did a lot of it.
well, they've been around for let me check the stats here. 100 billion. That can't be right.
No, it's the beginning of time.
Yeah, since
Since the universe
time,
expanded.
time immemorial. Etc.
So
Yeah,
the advertising. Now that we have the internet, it's a beautiful place to go and see. Because I imagine before that it would have been difficult to see some of the
yeah, that's
early.
true. I never really thought of the fact that we have a time machine
It is
sitting in front of
crazy.
us.
No, I know.
Yeah, because I was like, I wonder what their ads looked like in
There
1958,
they
and
are.
then I Googled it, and boom.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you'd like to see what a Lego ad looked like in 1958, you can go to our website,
BreakingDads.com.
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 Look at that marketing right there. That's
Or visit Jeff at Still Sorting.
yeah, that's a good way to go. And if you do like us and hearing us ramble about Lego related things, please rate us on iTunes so other people can discover us.
Preferably not 1 star.
Preferably not one star.
But whatever.
We get at least a pity 3-star, don't we?
Vote with your heart.
Yes. But not with your mind. Please,
No.
not with your mind.
So early Lego ads, when does this whole thing, when did they decide that they were
Well,
going to get into it?
I'm assuming as a toy company, they advertised in some way
Day
at
one.
some point. Yes, from the get-go. However, the earliest ad I could find is from 1958. So this is when they'd already decided to rename the interlocking brick system that they had Lego, and it's nice. It's got a Lego. It looks like Lego. Like that's the
Yeah.
cool thing about Lego is you see the ad and you go, oh yeah, that's Lego.
It's a kid building stuff.
Yeah. So that's pretty cool. And basically, that's what all the early ads were like. It was basically like, hey, kids, Lego blocks. You should play with them.
Yeah. Yeah, it's not communicating that it's something else. It's just
No.
it's a fun thing, but you'll use that fun thing to build specific real world things,
Exactly.
which is kind of it hasn't changed.
And then and a lot of the ads, too, focused on the magic of plastic back then as well.
Right.
Right. So, they'd use words like color fast because, wood blocks tend to fade over time.
Edible.
Hygienic. That was the other nice thing that they went
Hygienic.
with because it's hard to wash wooden blocks.
That's
but
true. You
Lego,
can
you could always just throw them in the sink.
Yeah.
Exactly. So, so that's the fun thing about Lego ads from back then. We also there's a link to a early Lego commercial from around we're thinking about 1961, 62. And it's a fun little ad with clean cut kids having lots of fun. And there's a boy and a girl playing with the Lego Town Plan set, which came out in 1961. But one of the cool things about that ad is it ends with, because it's a North American ad, ends with Lego brought to you by Samsonite. Because Samsonite, the company some of you may remember for making luggage. Do they still exist? They must still exist in some
I
form.
have no idea.
At least as a brand that they sell
Probably
to. Yeah.
it's something.
Yeah. Anyway, they made their fortune making luggage, but back in the 60s they made a lot of money making Lego in North America. They actually had their own factory and they would produce the Lego for Lego under license and distribute it in US. They started in 1961. In 1962 they got Canada as well. And that lasted all the way up to 1972. But even after they stopped making Lego themselves, they were still the official distributor for Canada until 1986.
I wonder if this was just when you think about, even with luggage, they're using woven plastic. I wonder if Samsonite was just in the plastics industry or what their background. That's a weird. There must have been a connection.
My guess is they had a factory,
Yeah.
and they had machines,
Because
and
at
they had
that
the
time
know-how.
period, it must have not been that common. And
Yeah.
Lego went, who over there has stuff? Them? Okay.
Yep. No, but they Samsonite approached Lego.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and so that's how Lego got introduced in
I think
North
they had a
America.
distribution network already in place.
Exactly.
and
Yeah,
so
they were
it was-
already in the department stores, which
yeah.
would have a toy department.
right. So they've got all
Right.
the relationships. and-
Exactly. It makes sense
yeah.
in a 1960s world.
Right.
Like nowadays, it wouldn't be that Samsonite would enter an agreement with Lego to make Lego. It would be that a parent company that owns Samsonite
Right.
also would own part of this, and it would be a whole weird.
It's probably all goes back to GE.
Yeah,
It's,
exactly.
or it just goes back to Lego.
Yeah, or Disney in some way.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's the fun thing about that ad. It's a very innocent and wholesome looking ad overall, as you would imagine things from the early '60s to be all clean cut.
Yeah.
But the cool thing about it is that the ad features both a boy and a girl playing side by side.
Right.
It's the same Lego set for everyone.
I like there's no BB guns, there's no skin squirrels. It's just yeah,
Yeah.
both genders having fun playing with this wonderful toy that it's not a it's not a war toy. It's not it's a building creative, imaginative, and they kind of set the template
Yeah.
that they'll derail later.
The other Easter egg in that ad is the set they're playing with Town Plan has a picture of a boy and a girl on, or no, two boys. Yeah, it's two boys on the cover of this particular box. And the one boy, the main boy in the image, is actually the grandson of the founder of Lego.
Right.
Yes, I'm not going to say his last name because
No.
it's
Butcher.
Danish, but his name's Kirk. Let's go with that.
That's a pretty cool.
Yeah, yeah, and then they actually in the I think it was 2008 they did an anniversary set of that, and they put the now an old man
that's
on the
awesome.
cover, or older, I guess. He wasn't really old by that point. It was yeah. Anyway, so that's fun. That's the fun thing about those sets. Yeah, so that's what their advertising looked like. Come play with Lego. Lego is fun. It's colorful and it's hygienic. And then after a while, they started to realize that parents liked it because Lego is quasi-educational.
Right.
Right? There's lots of research that does show that Lego does help people, and does, people that tend to go into engineering tended to play with Lego. I don't know if that's
Correlation or causation.
exactly, yeah, or if just everybody played with Lego.
Play with Lego. That's I think more likely.
And
right?
then some people became engineers, but
oh my goodness.
there's lots of studies on both sides.
Yeah.
But yeah, the Lego, I think, in the late '60s to about mid '80s, sort of really a lot of their advertising hammers that educational aspect home. Saying, hey, don't buy them a stupid toy, buy them a smart toy.
Right, and in the educational market, that whole concept of it being hygienic, semi-indestructible, those are big selling points.
Yes, absolutely. Yes.
So that's kind of nice.
Yes, my wife's a teacher. She just has to throw the Lego into the wash every year, and
Just pour a bottle of bleach over the whole mess.
yes, that's how she solves all her problems.
That'll get the bubonic plague
Yeah, exactly.
off of this.
But it works well, and again, and we have some more ads from there, featuring boys and girls. There's ads that just have girls in it, standing there with her Lego, and it's again the same Lego, so people are very excited about that. And then we move on from the 80s into the 90s and the 2000s, and at this point now, Lego's not just competing with other toys; they're competing with electronics,
Right.
in a big way. The NES is out, the Genesis is out, and kids are edgier, and they're looking for more motion and excitement.
Kids have been living on the set of Miami Vice for years.
Exactly. They want to live the Zach Morris lifestyle that has been promised to us in Saved by the Bell.
That's it. Those ads are something.
Yeah, so they bring out the Lego Maniac.
Yeah.
And if you were alive in this time period,
Oh.
you will remember it. And you might not know that you remembered it, but if you click on the video, you will go, "Oh my god, now that's in my head again."
Yeah.
And thank you,
And
Zach.
all my anger has come back. I wasn't a
Yeah.
fan of those ads. I thought,
Yeah, they were weird. It was like MTV style ads.
when you play them, you immediately go, the 80s.
Yes.
Like they are their time period.
Or the 90s for the
Yeah.
later ones.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like they make contextual sense.
Yeah.
But looking back, you're like, oh, but then I have that same feeling about the entire decade, decade and a half. It's just like, oh,
Yeah, a lot of
rinse.
moving cameras and
Yes.
fast noise and quick cuts and just.
Oh yeah.
But really, the ads themselves, they were very focused on their themes. So it was city or castle or pirates or space, and there's always conflict. There's the bad aliens trying to get the good aliens, or the good space guys, and the ads would show you sort of the conflict oh, the robots are coming to destroy the monorail.
Right.
Which I will say that's actually awesome.
Well, they've got GI Joe, Castle Grayskull, all those kinds of things.
Yeah.
The He-Man franchise to contend with. So
Exactly.
having that very boy-centric
Mm-hmm.
advertising emphasizing the conflict makes a lot of sense given what else was kind of in the market.
Yeah. And it's weird at that point. Yeah, you look at the ads and you go, wait. Where did all the girls go?
They got crushed into the wheels of Lego Awesome.
It does appear that way.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so they were selling to what I guess they thought was their core audience that became their core audience because of what they were selling.
Yeah. Dudes.
The old quandary. But yeah, it was a lot of focus on the play features. This opens up and this shoots out and this falls out and this moves over. And the swoosh ability, people moving stuff around.
And they did look awesome.
They did look awesome. They put some really nice sets out in those eras, and they're horribly featured in some terrible ads.
But even as a kid, I remember hating those ads, and I still thought those look awesome.
The product is cool.
I want that.
Yeah.
Yeah, give her to the kid, but I want that.
Yes. If I could have got a monorail as a kid, I had a friend who had the monorail.
Oh, wow.
And I would go over to his house and I would play with it, and it was everything I hoped it would be, and I'd ask my parents, and I just never, ever got it.
When you had to go home after the end of your playing, just wistfully look back at the monorail.
I did. I'm sure I thought, can I fit that in my pocket? No? Dang.
It's
I don't
awesome.
know what happened to your monorail, Chad. Coincidentally, come over and play with my brand new monorail that has bite marks in it. Yeah, so those were fun. And then the 2000s came. And Lego kind of lost their way for a bit. I mean, with the stellar advertising they were doing, you're like, how could they?
Yeah.
But they really were relying on their themes. They weren't putting out anything new that they hadn't done before. They were just variations of what they'd done.
So they found a template and they were just
Hammering
punched them out.
Exactly. And they stopped talking to their customers at some point. It was actually around the 80s. They stopped listening. You know, like when I was a kid, you'd take the picture of the thing you built, you send it in. There was Lego magazines. People were like, oh, this is awesome. But at some point in the 80s, the Lego legal department starts getting letters from upset parents that are like, hey, my kid sent you a letter about an underwater theme. And lo and behold, 3 months later, we go into the store and there's an underwater theme on the shelves. Obviously, my kid created that, because people didn't understand that it takes, a year or two for things to come.
My kid invented the wheel.
Exactly. Yeah,
I sent you my Lego ideas. You've stolen them all.
Yeah, exactly. And so Lego starts to get scared about this because there are a lot of lawsuits in the 80s. And
it was a very lawsuity time.
Yeah, and you never know what's going to happen in court. So they started having a policy of no unsolicited ideas from our consumers.
I did not know that.
Yeah, which is a common practice of the time. All right, and so nothing unsolicited.
Yeah.
Sorry. Not going to happen.
But
that's sort of morphed into from the 80s into the 2000s to we're not going to listen to our customers at all.
Right.
Right. We don't have any contact with them. We put our sets out. They buy the sets. That's the relationship.
Huh.
And that sort of didn't work, surprisingly, to the point that in the 99-2000 Christmas season, Walmart and Target and Toys R Us all independently went to Lego and said, you don't know your customers. You don't know what they want, and you should.
So was this after things just didn't sell that Christmas?
Yeah, things aren't selling as well.
Huh.
There's stock left on the shelves.
99-2000.
In terms of sets?
Well, in terms of sets and in terms of competitive toys, I don't really remember what was the predominant.
I think around that time now you've got the PlayStation, right?
Okay,
So I think electronics if you look at Toys R Us, all of a sudden the electronics department's getting bigger and bigger, and the toy section is getting smaller and smaller, right? So there's competition for shrinking shelf space, I would say.
So what is Lego going to do with that?
Yeah,
they can't compete against a console.
No, exactly, and
I'm sure they thought about it.
Well,
it must have been internally. It must have been like, can we build a Lego console, guys? Can we do this?
If you've listened to our video game Lego Game podcast, you can see that they were looking in that space for sure to see if they could sort of fill some of the voids.
Right.
But what they did do is they started to work with the adult Lego community for the first time,
Hmm.
right? Because they also looked at it like, hey, our customers are kids. We're a toy company. Our customers are kids, and they are still a toy company, but they definitely have more focus on the adults, and they produce sets that aim directly at the adults. I mean, before the Lego Millennium Falcon came out, which was a $500 set when it first came out,
Right.
which everybody wishes they bought now.
Yeah.
What you could sell it used now, but it before that their highest price point was $150, and they wouldn't go above that because
So they did some market research.
they did some market research. They got in touch with the adults. They asked them what they liked, what they wanted, what they needed from Lego. And one of the reasons they did this is the adult Lego community does so much free advertising for Lego, right?
Right.
You know, like a Lego club might set up in the middle of the mall in November doing a huge Lego train display.
Right. Yeah.
And tens of thousands of people in the mall are going to walk by and see that.
Yeah.
And they're going to go, oh, hey, that's awesome. I wish I worked at Lego so I could get things like that. And they'd say, oh, we don't work for Lego. We bought it at the toy store.
And we're just so thankful we're not getting sued right now.
Yeah. So, so by working with the adults, they were able to find new markets. They were able to figure out what people wanted from their products and design to that. And that sort of really helped them out.
That's
for sure.
awesome. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's good that yeah, beginning to listen again,
Yeah, which is a weird
or at least
concept.
open their eyes and see what was going on in the market.
Yeah, and the seeds of what they do today sort of started to form back then, with things like Lego Ideas, right?
Right.
Where it's now, hey, send us your unsolicited. I guess they're
Exactly.
soliciting the ideas at that
Yeah.
point. Yeah, and we might make it, and if we make it, we will give you some money for making it.
And I guess now that it's a transparent process, it also makes it easier to say, like that idea of who owns the idea and not ripping things off. Like now, the framework is better for people sharing ideas in a public way,
Yeah.
as opposed to people sending unsolicited mail that secretly hides in a cabinet.
Exactly. Yeah.
And then, hey,
Who knows what I saw it? And,
Yeah.
exactly. So it's a pretty nice process nowadays. And that alone, though, of course, wasn't enough to drag them out of the near collapse in around 2004. Licensing played a small, massive part
Yeah.
in the rebirth of Lego and in the way they advertise nowadays. So, they added Star Wars, and then they added more and more licenses. They're the only toy company on Earth that produces stuff for both Marvel and DC.
Right. Yeah.
So that's pretty good.
That's something.
Yeah.
So
So
what do they spend a year on advertising now?
the only now they're a privately held company, so it's hard to find out.
Right.
So I did find out from a slideshow from a potential advertiser pitching to Lego their product, that how they wanted to advertise, that Lego spends more than $50 million a year on advertising.
Whoa.
Yeah, that seems like a big number.
Well, I get, yeah,
Yeah.
but I don't know. Yeah, contextually, what is
Yeah.
that of their sales?
Well, they did about a little over $4 billion in sales in 2014 and took home about $1 billion in profit.
So really, that's chump change.
It's jump change.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, because Lego is a great business. They found a way to sell $1 worth of plastic for $75.
Right. Yeah.
It's good work if you can get it. Yeah, so they're doing very well. And it's really, so you look at that $50 million and you think that's a lot of advertising, but that is their direct advertising, their TV spots, their
Right, which doesn't go
magazines. No, that doesn't go very far. Really, what they've done in the recent years is they become more of a media company than just a toy company, right? Because if you look at what they have going on right now, they got 29 iPad apps. So that's just one platform.
That's crazy.
Digital.
eh?
Most of those are free,
Yeah.
right? So I imagine there's money in development in those, and most of them are high quality. From the ones that my kids and myself play with, they're pretty fun. They've got 4 feature films in development right now after the success of the Lego movie. They've got Batman, they've got Ninjago, and they've got a couple more future ones. They got 4 TV shows currently airing, with one just starting. So that's pretty nice.
That's a lot.
Half hour ads for your product.
Yeah.
It works well. And they've got, as we said on the video game podcast, 56 video games. And I did a little more digging. 30 of those games have been released after 2010.
So yeah, I mean, they might spend 50 million on advertising, but they've spent a lot in other marketing.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Which is, I think, in a lot of ways more valuable
Oh,
marketing.
yeah, exactly. No, marketing that doesn't seem like marketing.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. The ads people look for and pay money for. That's
Yeah.
pretty good.
That is.
It's pretty good. And they've done a really good job with those ads, not making them
No, they're
be
not-
addy.
Exactly.
Yeah.
They've actually made genuinely good products as opposed to just being,
Yeah.
hey, buy more Lego.
Yeah, because they know, if we do a really good Lego Star Wars TV show,
Yeah.
then kids will be more engaged with Lego and more engaged with Star Wars, and then they will spend more money on our products.
Man.
So that's working well.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they've also done a very nice job on their social media. They've had some missteps on the way, but I think because we were talking about this stat before we started recording here,
Yeah.
and it's ridiculous. So they have their own YouTube channel, right? And in 2014, they averaged around 5 videos a day putting up. So that's pretty awesome. That means that if you checked the Lego YouTube video page every day,
There's something there.
you'd have around 5 new things to watch if you wanted to.
That's bonkers.
That's crazy. And part of that is because they have so many different streams with the licenses now. There's a lot of
Right.
different takes on what they're putting out. That's pretty cool. But the amount of time that people spent watching those videos in 2014, I don't even know if I can say this stat without my head exploding. People spent over 4,850 years, 290 days worth of time watching Lego YouTube videos
In 2014.
in 2014. So in 1 year's
I didn't-
time,
yeah.
almost 5,000 years worth of time was
I
spent.
think when the extraterrestrials come and they look at humanity,
Yes.
they're going to be like, so what's going on here? Oh, what?
But I like this. This is a great relationship to that stat. So 4,850 years. What does that really mean? Because it's a big number if you think about it. What does that really mean? Well, that's around the same amount of time it took in human history for people to build basic metal tools. So from humans' existence to having basic metal tools, that's the same amount of time was spent doing that as was spent, watching YouTube videos in 1 year.
That's crazy.
It's absolutely a weird thing.
Man. So yeah, in 1 year, they're posting a lot of videos.
Posting a lot of videos, and people are consuming those videos very muchly.
Man. So Lego has come a long way in their advertising.
They have, yeah, and they're now a huge company. They're like McDonald's, right, where they can produce different content to target very specific groups, and they can be everywhere all the time.
Yeah.
Which I guess leads to the question, are we going to suffer Lego fatigue? Is it too much Lego, too many places, too often?
We'll just take it for granted.
Not even for granted are we
We'll
going
just
to
be
get
sick of it.
yeah, exactly. I mean, like, oh, Lego again. Personally, no.
Well, I think it's that same idea. Are people sick of watching cartoons? No.
Right, yeah.
So
yeah.
it's they've almost not diversified it to the point, but the brand has just become so ubiquitous that it's not weird to watch a cartoon made with Lego people.
Right.
It's just like watching a cartoon that has Simpson style looking people. Mm-hmm. We're not sick of that style necessarily, so we almost look past the fact that it's Lego.
Yeah, and I guess also because their bar is quite high for their standards.
Yeah.
That
The production values are there.
generally it's good content when you're watching it. So
Right.
you have if you see something Lego, you go, oh, this will be good.
Yeah.
And then 9 times out of 10, it is.
Huh.
And so that just makes you seek out more and go consume it even more.
So it'd be hard if you're working at Lego and you're thinking, where do we go now? More
Yeah.
of the same? I mean, they've hit in a way, yeah, they've hit a saturation point where I don't know what else they could get I mean, they've got the movie thing exploding.
Mm-hmm.
That would have been the last. It had, we thought about this a few years ago. That would have been really the last domain.
Yeah.
I don't. What is it just going to be piped into our heads directly?
Yeah, that
Right through the
I would sign up
the
for that
chip?
actually.
Yeah.
I'm at the point where I would sign
You
up
want the
for
Lego
that.
chip?
Yeah.
It's a little brick that's put in your head. I don't know where they can really go. So
I think they're at the point where they're on top of the wave, and it's just try to stay on the board,
yes,
right?
exactly.
Like don't anger that shark over there, yeah. I mean it's an interesting world. The one thing they've tried to do recently in their advertising is pivot back towards women.
Right.
They're doing the Lego Friends line, which has to call it mixed response, I think would be charitable.
But we need to do a whole podcast on
Yeah,
that.
we'll talk about that one and then another one because that's a whole
It is.
separate issue for sure. But that would be the one criticism against Lego today.
But that's, I would think, given how fast they're moving and how much they're doing, relatively easy to fix. You would think? I don't know.
You would think.
But,
You would hope.
Yeah.
They're definitely, you can see there's a concerted effort towards it. And I
Yeah.
guess that's all you really want out of a mega corporation is, when you start rattling the cages for them to go, okay, I hear you.
yeah.
So we'll see. We'll see how that goes in the future because that would, I guess, be the one landmine that they're trying not to step on. Other than that,
They haven't stopped us from playing and watching.
no. And they've got a definite Midas touch thing right now. So hopefully that will continue for them for the foreseeable future.
Yeah.
Because I'm going to keep watching their stuff and buying their stuff. And if I see a Lego ad on TV, I'm probably going to stop fast forwarding on my PVR as well.
Exactly.
This is where we're at.
They've done their job.
So I guess that's all you can ask for.
I think so.
Yeah.
Well, if you want to go check out the videos or the images, go to breakingdads.com.
Yep.
If you want to tell Jeff what a beautiful voice he has.
It is beautiful, isn't it?
You want to hire him for radio work.
Thank you for noticing, James.
Hey, it's the little things, Jeff.
Yeah.
At Still Sorting.
Yep.
And
Rate us on iTunes.
yeah, that would be lovely.
So you can advertise for us.
Exactly. Because we're terrible at it ourselves.
We are, but we are not a mega corporation.
We don't listen to the things we talk about, apparently. But until next week, I'm James.
And I'm still Jeff.